All right, so this conversation is going to be development versus exposure. Development refers to the internal process of improving skills, your knowledge, your game IQ, over time through training, through experience. Exposure is different because it's the external act of gaining visibility, access, or being recognized for your development. So where I kind of stand on this, I do think that development is important. But at some point, development has to turn into real competition. As an athlete, you cannot grow if you never test that development against competition. And competition has to be either at level where you are or better. It can't be competition that's lower than what you have. And it's also important to say that exposure isn't the enemy. I know a lot of coaches always say, well, those teams, they don't develop. Y'all are chasing flashy and chasing exposure. They don't develop. But exposure isn't the enemy. Stagnation is. And why can't two things be true at the same time? Why can't I want to be developed while also seeking exposure? And I can't get that exposure if the tournaments I'm going to, number one, we're playing the same teams consistently and blowing them out. And number two, if we never compete against more competitive teams, then how can we actually say that we're developing? What are you developing? And what is the end goal for that development? And then I personally feel like when coaches say that, like, don't chase exposure programs, we focus on development, that's true for a season or two, but not for 5-6 seasons. We're still developing. Development eventually needs to graduate into real competition. Iron sharpens iron. If you're not being sharpened, then again, you're being stagnant, like you're not progressing. And so while development is what's going to build your foundation, competition is what's going to reveal the truth. At some point, you have to stop practicing the game and you have to go play it. You're not developing in practice. Practice is not where you develop. Players need to be consistently working on their craft. If you're going to tournaments where you're consistently beating the same teams by 20 or 30, that's not development. That's becoming too comfortable and too stale. And isn't that what colleges do? Don't they recruit for talent? And so that if we get into this mindset where you're always developing and never being recruited for talent, that's a me issue. That's an issue between the parent and their child. But for mine, I want her to be recruited for her talent. I want her to be recognized for her talent. I want for people to say, like, wow, she's really talented. But I also want her to be acknowledged for her hard work. She puts the time in and never complains about it. And then I also have to question the motives and intentions of anybody that can recognize that an athlete has progressed beyond the level of competition that your team currently competes at. And then the next question I have is, how did she end up on your team if you didn't recruit her for her talent? And don't get me wrong, the development isn't going to stop. It's just that sometimes you progress beyond that of the team. And so you have to find other opportunities to be battle tested. But to be recognized for your talent isn't a bad thing. So I don't understand why coaches continue to say that. And mind you, I've been a coach. I was a coach for 15 years. So I understand both sides of the fence. So look, we are grateful for the development in coaching that has helped to build the foundation of that is Kennedy. But sometimes growth requires new challenges. Athletes can actually outgrow their environments that once helped them to grow. And that's not disrespect, that's progress. And if you care about my kid, if, like you said in the beginning, if you tell me, oh, I really care about your kid and I want to see her do well, but then you also can't be mad when part of that means that we have to find a different opportunity. And then also, not every athlete develops at the same pace. Some athletes actually get to the point where the next step isn't more practice, it's more competition. Growth requires you to be uncomfortable. And as a parent, I have to make those tough decisions that says that we've reached the end of this journey. We are grateful for every opportunity that's been placed in our path because that foundation does matter. But I also feel that she has progressed to the point where she needs more competition in order to keep developing. She needs to compete at a higher level in order for her progress to continue. Think about this. When the game starts slowing down for you, it's time for you to take it to the next level. We have decided to take a different journey or a different path. Know this, the mission stays the same. We work hard, we stay humble, we compete. And for anybody that knows Kennedy, knows that she thrives in competition. pressure and challenge, it just brings out her best performance. And for her, when she competes in high stakes situations, she just becomes more energized and determined to succeed. She doesn't fold. Psychologically, she views competition as an opportunity. She's not threatened by it. And finally, coaches and families need to know the difference. We personally will continue to seek exposure. I'm going to continue to post her highlights and her training videos, but I'm also going to make sure she's actually getting developed and being consistent with her recovery and growth, because that's my job, not the coaches. There are way too many players that want to be seen but not built, and not everyone can handle the physicality and mentality of the next level. But I know that Kennedy can, and she will, because she has me and her dad to oversee the journey.